If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Had some technical difficulties. Hopefully we can get through this without any more interruptions. I had to restart podcast, but whatever, man. Before we start, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. So today, man, we're going to talk about this whole ICE movement, because that's all it is. It's a movement. Just like the BLM movement, just like the LGBTQ movement, just like the Palestine movement, even though, I agree with the Palestine movement to a degree. Certain things about it I dislike with Israel and all of that. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic we're not getting into today. But basically, Obama a video of Obama giving a speech back when he was the president about immigration is going viral because people are realizing and understanding that the Democratic Party are just hypocrites. All of these things that Trump are doing is really just regular shit. It's nothing new. The only thing that he's doing that's different to me is tariffs. It might be a few other things, of course, with the one big beautiful bill, but the tariffs is the one thing that stands out. The immigration, especially, is nothing new. They all agreed on like borders and immigration. You know what I'm saying? Like deport illegal immigrants. You can't just come in the country like it's nothing. Like you just going to Walmart, you know. And Obama, I'm gonna show a clip from um something he did with Telemundo, and they asked him a question and he'll respond, and it's basically just letting you know and letting the people know that this is not truly how the Democrats feel. They only are doing all of this because they want these illegal immigrants to stay here, because they need a new voter base, because everybody is flipping to vote for Republicans. And that's the thing that they're scared of the most. You got the midterms coming up. They want to make everything seem like, oh, this is retribution because they went after Donald Trump. They tried to lock Donald Trump up. They tried to bankrupt him, take all his money, and all of these things that they tried to do to him, but it didn't work and it's not working. And he's winning on every single issue because he's actually telling the people the truth. And the biggest thing that they're really mad about is that he's just turning the faucet off. They no longer are just going to be able to just rob us anymore. Now when money goes out, it's going to have to be receipts attached to it. Why is it going out? Where is it going? What is it for? Is this even worth money being going out to? Because we see all of the fraud being exposed in Minnesota, California, and probably honestly every single state, including Republican states too, because this is what they do, bro. These politicians are snakes, Republican and Democrat. And I believe Donald Trump is honestly just trying to, bring things back. I mean, bring things to a place where people can actually trust that their vote actually counts, that the government can be trusted, and things like that. It's going. I believe we're a little far away from that, but I believe that's the direction that we're going. If people actually vote the right way and actually care about voting, because most people just don't care about politics and stuff like that, which I understand. I understand. I get it. I feel that way to a degree myself. You know what I'm saying? But actually, we actually need to kind of care, bro, because these people that we're putting in are just robbing us because they get in. They might even want to be doing good for their county, state, district, whatever. But once they get in and they realize, hold on, oh, this is what's really going on. What? Okay, cool. And we know that why. Look at Ilhan Omar. She's under fire for these alleged businesses that she have growing from basically nothing to $30 million in 1 year. And this is off information that she disclosed. So she's not the only one. Nancy Pelosi, insider trading. It's just so much going on. People do not trust the government, and I don't neither. And I don't think you should. My biggest issue with most of this stuff is that I believe people are fighting for the wrong shit. They're fighting for the wrong shit. They're fighting for illegal immigration, bro. But, I don't think any of these people out there are really truly fighting for this. They don't truly care. They just hate the fact I mean, maybe they do. They're that brainwashed that they think that they're really fighting for a righteous cause or something. But bro, this stuff is all fake. They're all paid, and they get these actors and Hollywood people to get out here, and but now it's to the point where they're actually saying the quiet parts out loud about, like, they really want to kill Donald Trump, bro. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I mean, they're saying shit kind of like that. You know what I mean? And we're going to get into that with Brian Maxwell because they're so upset that the FBI raided Fulton County, this election facility that I guess holds all the election ballots and stuff like that in that county, and they raided it. And they seem kind of scared and nervous, and we'll get into that story at the end. But let's start off, man. Let's get into it. Let's start off with um, this Obama conversation that he had.
Last time we spoke, you said that you weren't king, you were president. There were only certain things you could do unilaterally. As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks, saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow. But if we start broadening that, then essentially I would be ignoring the law in a way that I think would be very difficult to defend legally. So that's not an option, and I do get a little worried that advocates of immigration reform start losing heart and immediately thinking, well, somehow there's an out here. If Congress doesn't act, we'll just have the president sign something and that'll take care of it, and we won't have to worry about it. What I've said is that there's a path to get this done, and that's through Congress. And right now, everybody should be focused on making sure that that bill that's already passed out of the Senate hits the floor of the House of Representatives. It's not as if the votes are not there. Right. The votes are there. The only thing that's preventing it is, the Speaker Boehner's decided that he doesn't want to call it right now.
Last time.
So basically, you see that's just one. But Obama has, oh damn, I guess Telemundo don't let you play their shit, I guess. But anyway, he ain't playing that anyway. So, he has been consistent with immigration. Like, he deported millions of illegal immigrants. Like, that's why I said this is nothing new. They're trying to act like Donald Trump is doing something that's so crazy. And they even go as far as, like, on the thumbnail, I put the picture of the kids in the cages. And that was like a picture that they were showing, saying that Trump is putting kids in cages, look. And it really was from Obama's administration. But at the end of the day, Obama did the same thing. And they did even with, like, as far as, like, Obama did some construction on the White House. They were smiling and everybody was like, oh, it's a great thing. And he used taxpayer money to do it. Donald Trump builds a ballroom not using taxpayer money. And they're like, oh, this is all he's worrying about. He wants to put his name on the building. And it's like, no, he's just building a ballroom so when leaders come here, they don't got to be under a tent. It's like, bro, every single thing. It's like, I can respect, okay, like, it's like middle ground on issues that they're like, okay, we agree on this. Okay, cool. And then it's like, we don't really agree on this. We need to come to some terms. Cool. But to not agree with nothing that that Trump does is like ridiculous, bro. Come on, stop. This guy is crazy. And I showed the clip yesterday of a reporter saying, how do you feel about, he was asking Trump, how do you feel about one of the leading experts, I guess, on an economist, saying that basically they got it wrong on his tariff policy, and so you just see all it. They said it was going to be a recession. We're not in a recession. They said inflation was going to be high. It's not high. It's low. It's actually lower than 3%. And all of these things are just wrong about, and they know they're wrong. But they want to put it out there. They want to put a perception out there that Donald Trump is failing you and that he's not doing nothing for you. He wants to, hurt your children and all of this. This stuff is out of control. Anyway, let's get into this next segment with Harris Faulkner. She had Ben Shapiro on. I'm not like a super big fan of Ben Shapiro, but this is about the whole ICE situation and some comments that was made by like actors and different people. So let's watch.
Talk to Leader Thune. We've laid out a plan, and that's the way to go.
Oh yeah, they are trying to shut down. They trying to, I obviously use the the leverage. They're calling it leverage of shutting down the government to get what they want. So that's the thing. They want to just think about that. They want to. It's people out here that really need, the help with the food and maybe cash assistance or however it go. Right? They need help, and they're willing to stop letting you get help from the government in order to get what they want. So they're using you. Like, what don't people understand? They're using you. They're taking advantage of you so that they can, steal from you and continue to steal from you. They tried to do it with the Obamacare, $26 billion going to um, big insurance companies instead of going to directly to the people. This is what they want to do, bro. These people are loony.
And that's where we're headed.
A government shutdown is not in anybody's interest. I hope we can get this thing back on track. We need to fund the government.
Senate Republicans right now are trying to save Americans from another government shutdown. Democrat-led, of course. They're about to hold a test vote on the government spending package. It has 6 bills in it. Democrats are refusing to fund nearly 80% of the government. And what's interesting, obviously the House has passed this. So there's no time to reverse order or send it back to the House, do all.
Hey, yo, I don't think they also, I don't know why, it's saying my chat is disabled. I don't know why. But um, I don't see any options to change it. So I don't want to fuck nothing up. So I'm just leave it. But if you're trying to comment or anything like that, my bad. I don't know what happened with that. Maybe I hit something.
This stuff. This happens tomorrow at midnight. We go back into what we just saw. Democrats are opposing one of those 6 bills that's in this package because it funds the Department of Homeland Security. And they are demanding new restrictions on federal agents in the field trying to arrest criminal illegal immigrants. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford.
What Democrats are saying is what they negotiated 6 days ago is not enough. They actually want more now, and they want to go back at it. So they've already added into the bill itself body-worn cameras, all kinds of different new training for agents that are in the field. And now they're saying, hey, that's not enough. We want.
So hold on. So think about that, right? They came to the table and said, listen, we want to change some things. We want to add this and that. And the Trump administration said, cool, we can add that. That's fine. And probably they looking at it like, oh, that was easy. Oh, and you know what? We want to add some more stuff. Like, bro. So when they say that, oh, Trump isn't trying to work with these people, they're lying. Look at Tim Walz. Tim Walz, he could have easily shitted on Tim Walz and said, fuck you. I don't want to work with you. We're going to continue to do what we want to do. I'm bringing in Tom Homan. We're going over you. But he picked up the phone when Tim Walz called, had a good conversation with him and the mayor, and he said, well, listen, we had a good call. Hopefully we can get some things done. And so it goes to show you that Trump is willing to work with these people, even though he know they're nuts. He's willing to work with them.
Want even more on it, and they're threatening a government shutdown if they don't get it.
In focus now, Ben Shapiro, host of the Ben Shapiro Show. It's my understanding that DHS is already funded. So what are they trying to do here, Democrats?
I mean, it seems like an optic move. Obviously, they're trying to demonstrate to their base that they are very resistant to ICE. The best way to do that, of course, is to hold up the business of government as per our usual arrangement. It is unclear to me what their demands are at this point. There was some talk earlier this week that Democrats were actually demanding that only judicial warrants be used in ICE apprehensions, which, of course, would mean basically the end of all ICE apprehensions, since the vast majority of ICE apprehensions happen with an administrative warrant, not a judicial warrant. And so it seems to me, again, that this is another performative move by Democrats in an attempt to undermine President Trump's immigration policy by connecting it with defunding the rest of the government, which is quite popular, is the actual funding of the government.
And Tim Walz recently passed some legislation on giving illegal immigrants licenses, which is an ID. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to do everything that they can to keep these people in the country. And it's not because they love illegal immigrants. It's not because of that. It's just because they want these people to vote for them. They want to get back in power. They're willing to do anything to do it too. And this is why Trump is going above and beyond to prove that the 2020 election was stolen and that they cheated. And you see, we already done seen a bunch of videos and proof that they did that. So it's not a secret. So now he's trying to go in there to, I guess, actually get these ballots to prove that that election was rigged. And all it is and my thing is this, right? If you have so much, if you're saying that the elections are safe and there's nothing happening with the elections, right? Then why not pass the SAVE Act to make it mandatory for you to have document like an ID, I guess, or a social or something proving that you're a U.S. citizen? Like if they literally said that that's racist because they put it out there that black people don't own IDs. Bro, even when you get released from prison, they give you an ID, a social, and a birth certificate. It's mandatory when you leave prison to get these things. So to sit there and shit on black people, like black people are so broke that they can't get an ID, or they're so, unintelligent that they can't go to the DMV and get an ID, is absurd and crazy and stupid. Everybody has an ID, bro. Everybody has an ID. You need IDs for everything. You need IDs to buy liquor, gamble, get cigarettes, go to the club. Everybody has an ID, bro. So they don't want to pass it because they know that they cheat. You know what I'm saying? They know that they cheat, and all of that stuff is already coming out.
Ben, that's such an interesting point. It's so important for people to understand because it's more of the maneuvering and the behavior that they're showing than it is about actual money. They want ICE to go away, and they want to run on that. It didn't work out in the past, but I guess they're going to try to abolish ICE in a different way. I want to show you
I think that's right.
Yeah, go ahead. Quick response to that, and then I'm going to show you a clip of former President Obama on this issue.
Again, I think that the Democrats are sort of arguing with themselves here a little bit, because I think on the one hand, they would like to see ICE go away rhetorically, but if ICE were to go away, then they end up defending the same sort of open borders policy that projected President Trump back into office the second time.
All right, that clip of former President Obama back in 2010 is going viral over his comments defending the deportations of illegals. Watch this.
There are those in the immigrants' rights community who have argued passionately that we should simply provide those who are illegally with legal status. And often this argument is framed in moral terms. Why should we punish people who are just trying to earn a living? I recognize the sense of compassion that drives this argument. But I believe such an indiscriminate approach would be both unwise and unfair.
What do you hear him saying
Well
there?
said. Well said, bro. It's just what it is.
And I think that what he's saying, obviously, is that mass amnesty for everybody is a bad idea. The problem is that he then proceeded to try and pursue mass amnesty in his second term by essentially legitimizing the Dreamers and making the overt case that ICE should really not do what it is that ICE has been doing. And this, again, is the Democratic way of doing immigration policy, is that you sort of do the de minimis approach. When you are pressured because policy has bad consequences, then you ramp it up, but then you deny that you ever ramped it up. But then when it turns out that your open borders policies are unpopular, you go back to claiming that you actually did a great job on the border. And the reality is that the consistent approach the Trump administration is taking, which I think is best represented by Tom Homan, who is tremendous at laying out the policy and is very staid and consistent in the way that he does so, that is the popular approach with the American people. Immigration remains, despite all of this, the bright spot in President Trump's polling right now.
Well, you know who else thought that? Barack Obama. He gave him a presidential award for the job that Tom Homan did.
That's a fact. And people don't even know that Tom Homan was under Barack Obama also. And he not only helped him deport people like he's doing for Trump, he got an award for doing it. Like, but they ain't gonna tell you that though.
And Obama deported 5 million people on his watch. Deporter in chief. So he would agree with you. Let's get to this. Elected Democrat celebrities and others are on the left taking their violent anti-ICE rhetoric to a new level.
Oh, listen to this stuff. This is
when you say you're going to hunt down ICE officers for enforcing the law like Nazis, That's not someone you can reason with.
This gang of poorly trained, shamefully led, mask-wearing goons.
I think we can all agree, ICE.
I don't think that the comparisons with Nazi Germany are extreme.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades.
I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump.
DHS Assistant Secretary.
Bro, yo, what the fuck? Yo, that dude gotta be in jail, bro. Yo, these people are, yo, this is crazy. Like, they have manipulated people. It's actually, like, applaudable. Because I just can't understand it. I'm like, yo, I mean, I voted for Obama. I even called Trump a racist because that's what I thought he was, because I seen it on the news when I was ignorant, right? So, like, the fact that I'm able to be rational, though, I'm able to be like, okay, like, I see what's going on. I'm like, yo, why they going at Trump so hard? And then you start, looking into these things and getting information, and you're like, hold on, so they just been lying about this dude all this time. And now you just see a lot of this stuff going on, and this is why people voted for Donald Trump this second time around. And, he said, I'm going to kill. Yo, that's wild, bro.
Patricia McLaughlin in a statement
They
said
outta
this,
control,
comparing ICE day in and day out to the Nazi Gestapo, the secret police and slave patrols have consequences. The men and women of ICE and CBP are fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. The violence and dehumanization of these men and women who are simply enforcing the law must stop. Like from a now fired nurse. Watch this.
Just listen to this stuff, bro.
Get on Tinder, get on Hinge, find these guys. They're around. If they're an ICE agent, bring some X-Lax and put it in their drinks. Get them sick. Get the poison ivy oak water, and I'm gonna put it into a water gun.
Just think about this. This is a nurse. This is a nurse, bro. These people are so, like, off the rails, bro. This is a nurse. You got school teachers, people that are teaching your kids. Your kids go to school and they have teachers that think like this. This is sick, bro. The devil is alive, well, and real. Seriously, man.
Aim for faces, hands. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine, whatever.
This is a person that's in the medical field, bro. Yo, these people are so loony. You can't, bro. You sheesh.
Ben, that is sick.
It absolutely is. And obviously, if you're talking about the broader agenda here by an enormous number of celebrities and commentators to treat ICE like Nazis, the outcome of that is going to be people who treat ICE like Nazis. And that's unbelievably dangerous.
One of the people speaking up there was the Philly Attorney General, Larry Krasner, when he was doing exactly what you're talking about. And I mean, that's in a whole different category of where we've been already in really since October 7th. Just your comment about that. I mean, that one was particularly jarring because to me, it seemed like election interference. He said, hold the people who support ICE now under what Donald Trump is doing and what those people are doing on their jobs under the administration. Hold them accountable when you vote next time.
Yes, I mean, it's unbelievable. The same people who had nothing to say about, say, October 7th, or have nothing to say about the Iranian regime right now, they're treating ICE as though they are the worst people on earth. And then they're saying they're going to use law enforcement to go after actual law enforcement. And Larry Krasner has presided over radical increases in crime in his city. And I think that you can see why, because when you are defending people who are doing illegal things while attacking the people who police all of that, that's what you end up with. This is unbelievably dangerous stuff. And the fact that people are playing with rhetorical fire this way is going to get more people killed.
Yeah, and potentially money behind it. I mean, I've seen things posted about George Soros having supported Larry Krasner, and follow the money on that. Ben Shapiro, thank you very much.
Hey, yo, bro. Yo, they not even hiding it no more, bro. They just saying it. That's why I saw fake when they try to make it seem like, oh, we don't condone violence. Yeah, okay. And I was watching, so yesterday I showed the video of Ilhan Omar getting sprayed with a deadly chemical agent that was it was in a syringe. This guy lunged at her and sprayed her. And yeah, we know we knew it was staged. I mean, it's not totally confirmed, but come on, bro. I watched a guy who analyzed it, and he was kind of trying to be fair about the situation. But come on, bro. What she did was so delayed, and the reaction is not real. Because, like I said yesterday, everything with that, if somebody sprays something on you, obviously, if it's a liquid, this is something that could possibly, you know, poisons and things like that. Some can kill you in seconds, minutes, things like that. So for her to just be nonchalant, like I'm fine, it's okay. I don't know what it is. It could kill me, but I'm fine. She's touching the guy, the security guy that's protecting her, trying to protect her, and she's like, no, it's okay. Like you would not do that. I don't care, man or woman. You would, for not just your safety, but for the safety of other people that may have got it on, people she touched, things like that. So that's how we know that fake as hell, man. But anyway, let's get into this last story with my guy Brian Maxwell. If you're not tapped in, make sure you tap in, give him a subscribe. Definitely a dope journalist here on YouTube. Let's get into this story with the FBI raiding Fulton County.
They are in there collecting 700 boxes of ballots right now.
Yo, I seen this. I watched this little press thing. Just look at them. Look how angry they are, how like nervous they look, and you gotta listen to the things that they say though.
Are obviously concerned about once the ballots leave here, what will happen to the ballots, and our lawyers are going to be working on that. They are working on that as we speak right now. Let me just speak to the.
Now they're trying to put that see stuff that they do. Let's put it out there that the ballots are leaving, and we don't know. It might change because that's going to be their response to the findings, to them finding ballots that have been from dead people, whatever it is going to be, oh, that's a lie. These ballots were safe. We know this because they said it was back in 2020. Because a Democrat judge, said that everything went fine and the election was perfect. He just can't handle the fact that he lost.
The larger issue about what this is really all about. This is a scare tactic. This is something that we have seen done before. This is to instill fear and chaos, something that our officials at the national level are doing on a daily basis, and this is not a surprise for us here in Fulton County. This is meant to make people afraid to go to the polls because midterm elections are going to be so crucial to course correcting what is going on in our country. So instead of taking care of people who are dying in the streets of Minnesota, they are here in Fulton County trying to get ballots from 2020 that have been in storage for now 6 years from when it was found that there was no problems with the 2020 election.
So hold on, before he goes in, if there's no problem, then what are you so mad about? I would just be like, go ahead, take them. It's cool because we did nothing wrong. But they're so nervous. They're so scared. They're so upset.
Is now it is going down in Fulton County, Georgia. And let me start this video off saying all of those that have been patiently waiting and saying, you know what, Trump got to get the country right. He got to work on this economy. He got to shut this border down. There's a whole lot of ruckus going on globally. You got the global elites trying to destroy America. Let me get those things right. Once he got those things right, all of the people that were patient saying, you know what, once he gets that situated, I know he's going to zero in domestically, which is what Marjorie Trader Green and Thomas Sassy Massey was out there. Oh, Trump's doing all this other stuff, but he's supposed to be America. Well, you got what you want now. Now the attention is here. And as you heard in that initial clip, this woman who nobody even knows who she is, I guess is a representative there for Fulton County because she's done all types of, she put out videos wearing the same outfit. She's doing press conferences, all while saying, we're not worried. This is just a scare tactic. But those that were patient, thank you. And for those naysayers that always thought that is going to happen, as I told everybody, you're basing this off previous history where the deep state controlled the game. So nothing was happening because who wanted to raise their head up and rattle that hornet's nest and get stung by a million hornets and wasps trying to crack the deep state? You had to be somebody that had power, resources, and the trust of the people against the onslaught of the media. And all the naysayers be the main ones celebrating with everybody else when victories hit us. Pam Bondi went and arrested 16 more people, not just protesters. These are people that are actually linked to creating domestic T-word stuff on our soil. Now they're in Fulton County, and guess where they're going next? I believe what I heard, as far as when it comes with this election stuff, is either Arizona or Michigan, because the tomfoolery that went on in Georgia was just the tip of the iceberg, because it's coming down now. So in this video, I'm going to show you, you're going to see not just what's happening in Fulton County, but you're also going to see and remember how this happened in the first place. And when you see certain clips that you may or may not have seen before, when you connect these dots, I assure you, anybody saying, well, nothing's going to happen, it'd be impossible for anything not to happen. Well, let me take the word impossible out. It'd be extremely challengingly, difficultly hard, and yeah, I'm making up words on this one, to avoid prosecuting these people. And here's the kicker with the prosecutions, y'all. I've said this before. As you see, the mainstream media is not on our side at all. And they're going to spin it just like with the Alex Preddy thing. Oh, he was this peaceful man, this nurse. Now,
Hey, yo, real quick, you see the post that he got up? It says, Democrat treason, execution of the Lincoln coup d'etat conspirators, 1865. This is what happened the last time the Democrats attempted a coup d'etat after losing a war and election. The punishment is still the same.
new video comes out, this dude was breaking the lights off of ICE vehicles, spitting on the cars, acting like a straight lunatic while wearing his weapon the first time he engaged with them. But the media spun it to try to poke at the heartstrings of people. And they're going to do the same thing with this. Oh, it's scare tactic. And you notice how the lady said, oh, the midterm elections. Ask yourself this. What in the world does the government investigating voter fraud in the 2020 election, how is that intimidating voters from going to the polls? You see, they do these dog whistles, and a dog whistle is where it's silent and only the target can hear it, the dog, but nobody else. The words they speak won't resonate with you. But for that deranged leftist, they hear it and they peek up from across the country. So scare tactic, that's one. See, these are all these socialistic, color revolutionary type words they use. Scare tactic. How is it a scare tactic? By one, to investigate if you did fraud. That's a Democrat playbook. Hold them accountable. You're a racist, you're a bigot, or you're trying to intimidate somebody just by wanting to get answers. So let me get off into it. As you can see, this very first image here, matter of fact, let me make sure it's big so you can see the whole thing. Democrat treason, the execution of the Lincoln coup d'etat conspirators in 1865. This is what happened the last time the Democrats attempted a coup d'etat after losing a war and an election. The punishment is still the same. And as you can see, got them there, hanging from the gallows. Now, check out this Fox News report, and then, y'all, we're going to roll into it because we know what's happening, but they are panicking. They're terrified, and they should be. Check this out.
FBI agents are going through materials found today during a search of the Fulton County, Georgia election office. That search is said to be related to the 2020 election. Correspondent David Spunt has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. FBI agents are still on site at the records warehouse for the Fulton County, Georgia Board of Elections. The matter is sealed before court, meaning details are limited, but we can report this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Sources tell Fox News that agents retrieved documents, phones, and computers after a judge signed a warrant. President Trump has long made Georgia, and specifically Fulton County, a target of his complaints relating to the 2020 election. Shortly after that election, Trump spoke to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and said he needed 11,780 votes to win the state. At the time, Raffensperger said he felt pressure from Trump and denied any widespread election fraud. He continues to deny it to this day. Now, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis brought state criminal charges against then former President Trump and others in 2023 for conspiracy to overturn the election. But her prosecution, Brett, was eventually derailed completely after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. Now, Brett, last month, the Justice Department sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. Fox News has learned the head of the FBI's Atlanta field office was recently forced out in recent days, but it's unclear, Brett, if this is all related.
Now, if you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up. prosecution or subpoenas from Jim Jordan in the House when they wanted to get phone records, travel records, on what happened, the transcripts, or what happened when her team was meeting with Kamala Harris's team and Biden's team at the White House. So Fulton County has been bucking the system for a long time. It's one of the most crooked counties in the country, allegedly, when it comes to crime, rampant crime. And Fannie Willis touts herself as this great DA prosecuting cases. And all three major cases, major national news cases in Fulton County last year, the county lost them all and spent upwards of close to $100 million to prosecute them. I want to say on the Trump case alone, I think they spent close to $30 million. I could be off on that. But now I want you to check out this gentleman here. I want to say he's the county commissioner. I think his name is Bill Frisk. Let me make sure. I'm sorry, Robert Pitts, Fulton County chairman, Robert Pitts. Now listen to what he says, because what the Democrats are doing now, they're trying to stage it. They're setting it up, saying, hey, listen, we don't know what happens to the ballots when they're not around us. And that first clip, she said it. Well, they haven't, and we're concerned.
I said that that's what they're gonna try to do. That's the setup for an excuse to try to, bro. Listen, for me. I feel like it's already enough information that they already have. They got actual videos. They had a CNN out live, and they taped unknowingly a woman stuffing the ballot box with ballots.
About what's happening with our lawyers, and he's gonna dog whistle the same thing, almost implying that, hey, if they find something shady, we don't know how it got there. They took them from us. They were perfectly.
Hold on, bro. Just think about this. They take your money, my money, our money as taxpayers, and they pay people. Like, for instance, let me use the Minnesota fraud that's going on with the daycare centers, right? They took our money, right? Set up these nonprofits or whatever they are to get grants and money from the government. They got millions of dollars and paid parents to pretend that their kids were going to school at these daycares. Bro, these people. So I can only imagine they were paying people to stuff ballot boxes and things like that.
Perfect when they were with us. Check out Mr. Pitts.
It's crazy.
Now they have been removed from this facility, out of our control. We don't know where they're being taken. We don't know what's going to happen to them. So we can no longer, and I can no longer, as chair of this board, satisfy not only the citizens of Atlanta, but the citizens of the world, that those ballots are still secure. So that is a major concern that I have right now. Again, the point is, once they were here, as long as they were here,
I'm pretty sure they're going to have some type of video or something, some type of body cam footage of showing the process of these ballots being transferred or transported.
In the control of Fulton County, I was confident that they were safe and secure. And the other point I'd like to make, this goes back to the 2020 elections. For the life of me, I still cannot understand the fascination about the 2020 elections, which occurred 6 years ago. That election is over with. That election has been reviewed, it's been audited, and in every case, every instance, we get a clean bill of health. If there's anybody who knows what happened in 2020 on that night at State Farm Arena, it was Fulton County Commission Chairman Rob Pitts. I was there. So the fascination with this, I still don't understand it, but we'll have more to say later.
I'm glad to hear Mr. Pitts say that, because you heard him bring up State Farm Arena. Well, it just so happens that we all remember State Farm Arena. As a matter of fact, let's go back to that night and, you let us know what you think about it. Remember this? And this is the point of the video where we go, but check this out.
Well, we've also got some breaking news right now, so we want to check in with CBS's Mark Strassman. He is in Georgia, where they're having a big problem counting some of the votes. Mark?
On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now,
a hitch in the type mostly
/real politics, and let Chapter make sure you've got everything you need.
Nora, this is an election return watch party here on the edge of Atlanta. These are mostly excited Democrats because when's the last time Georgia thought of itself as a battleground state? After a record early returns and essentially a day of problem-free voting, there is now a hitch in the tabulation of votes. I'm standing in Fulton County. Fulton County includes a chunk of Atlanta. Downtown Atlanta is State Farm Arena, where the Atlanta Hawks play. They are tabulating the absentee ballots of Fulton County, Georgia's most populous county. A water pipe has broken inside the arena. They had counted 86,000 absentee ballots. We don't know how many more they have yet to tabulate, but all the tabulation of those ballots has now stopped.
Look, you see where Trump is at? Trump was up 56% to 42. That's a large margin when it comes to this election stuff and polling and whatnot. That's a large margin. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all of these things just magically started to happen. And then when it got back up, Biden just shot through the roof, getting 100% of ballot votes in certain instances, which is like impossible, bro. Nobody voted for Trump.
We're told by election officials they may not finish tabulating those votes for a day or two. So depending how close the rest of the state is, we may not know the result of this critical battleground state for another day or two. That is because, again, a water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county. And now the tabulation has stopped. Big development here.
So you remember that night, it was a water pipe main that broke in State Farm Arena, coincidentally, on election night. Now, for whatever reason, when that happened in Atlanta or in Fulton County, all the other counties all shut down that night too. All of the swing states all shut down simultaneously on that same night, even though State Farm Arena was the only one that had the alleged water main break. That's funny right there. Now, let's listen to Rathesberger as he's going to go in and remember what I said. Pay attention to what he says because he spills the beans. And the reason why I'm showing all of these video clips that you're seeing here are all pieces of evidence that are being used in their attempt to get to the bottom of the truth in Fulton County. Check this out.
Election, but we shall see is Georgia, and that state's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is with us now. Mr. Secretary, good morning on a busy morning. I guess the big question is, Hoda?
Yeah, we want to know, when are we going to get your votes? When are we going to find out who's won your state?
Well, we have about 2% left to go. We had great success yesterday. We had 4.7 million voters that voted. Record breaker for us, beats the 4.1 in 2016. We also had average wait time of only 2 minutes, statewide average. We have about 2% left to go. And you can see where we are right now with the results that have been reported. I don't think it'll change any of the outcomes, but that's what really people that make those predictions do. What we'll do is get.
Well, that was interesting, though.
Now, pay attention to what just happened. So he was talking. He said there's only 2% left to vote. And he's clearly said out of his mouth, I don't think it's going to make very much of a difference. So 2% of the votes left. Trump was up. You saw that 50% to 48%. Up by 1 some million votes. Then while he's talking, his connection goes out. This is all happening. That wasn't a glitch in the video. His connection drops. Check this out. Keep watching.
Just getting to the good part there, because the Secretary of State said they got 2% left to count, Chuck. But he did not think it would change the outcome.
That's interesting.
But then he deferred to the prognosticators, which I think is over to you.
Look, I can just say what our models say and where those counties are. They are heavily Democratic counties.
Now, why would Chuck Todd? So you got Brad Rathesberger, who's the deranged Democrat-loving supporter who helped rig this whole thing allegedly, who's talking, who says there's only 2% of the vote left, and he don't expect it would change anything. Then right after he says that, his feed is cut. As you can see, he's not back. It's a minute or two going. They defer to Chuck Todd. And one of the first things Chuck Todd wants to make known is, well, let's just say what's left. They're Democratic counties that's left. So what he's doing is planting the seed for the justification very, very subtly. Because why would we talking about when are their vote tally going to be done? Not what counties was left. And we just heard Brad Rathesberger say there was only 2% left and it would not change the outcome.
And it's the Atlanta number. So it is going to shrink, perhaps, if I were an arbiter of an election result, I wouldn't want to be the one saying yes. And when we count the vote, it'll change the result. Okay. I think his job is to be the umpire.
Well, let's ask.
Now, he just clearly said, I don't want to be arbiter, the one that say, when we get done, it's going to change the vote or it's going to change the count. He's telling us. He even knows. That's why he's tiptoeing, dancing around. Saying,
yeah, they know, bro. These people know. Listen, man, this is what we doing. Like, we need you to listen, be on point, say the right things. And on top of all of this, they got actual footage of them, pulling out luggage bags when people left, when everything shut down, and all this stuff, bro. They got mountains of evidence.
Now, watch as Roethlisberger comes back. And it's going to seem like he's changed his tune because what I believe, in my opinion, what happened, they cut that feed and said, look, don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Because the fact that he said it won't change anything, there's only 2% left. How would they be able to justify the sudden increase? All these pieces are coming together right as it's time to dig in and prosecute these people.
Mr. Secretary, can you hear me now? You just were saying something.
I'm getting like phone bombed or something.
Oh, okay. Well, fair. You're
And he just admitted it again. He got phone bombed. That means when he said that, whoever the ones that are pulling the strings, whether it's the Bidens, the DNC, Soros, whoever said, whoa, don't say that.
The guy, you're probably all your friends wanting to know the same thing we want to know, which is when is Georgia going to report its results? But you said something interesting, sir. You said 2% left to count. You didn't think, however, that it would be changing the outcome. Right. Is that based on your analysis of where those votes are outstanding, or are you just guessing it because of the fact that it's only 2%?
We don't guess. What we do is report. We just see where the candidates are right now in both presidential, congressional, senatorial, and you look at how many votes are out there. Even if one of the candidates got 100%, it probably wouldn't be enough to move it one way or the other.
He said, even if one of the candidates got 100%. You know what's ironic? Joe Biden actually ended up getting almost 100% of the leftover votes. Now, at 3 a.m., this was the situation at 3 a.m. on election day. Trump, right? Now, let's get into this clip right here where they really show you where it happened right in front of our face. They flipped the numbers directly in front of our faces. I'm going to show you this short clip, then I want you to listen to what Mike Davis has to say.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Now, did you see what happened? On the Trump numbers, it switched up. That says 690. That's 1,690,589. Watch what happens though. Boom. All of a sudden it's dropped. And now it's only 1,670,000 rather than 692,000 or whatever it was. And then ironically, you see Joe Biden right there at 272. Joe Biden was only at 252. And literally within 1 second, when they run the ticker back around, they literally flipped the votes equally. So they subtracted the 20,000 from Trump, flipped it to Biden right in real time in front of our face. And since the numbers are always updating, none of us called it that. Well, some people called it that night, but.
That's crazy. Hey, yo. These people need to go to jail, bro. What did it say? It said Biden. Nearly 20,000 votes. So they literally subtracted it from Trump's votes and gave them to Biden. That's crazy. People look at stuff like, like that's not a big deal. It's 20. That's not going to change nothing. But if Trump had, he obviously had more. It's 20,000 votes. Like that's a lot of people. That could change an election. I think people have lost elections with less votes, way less votes than 20,000.
In Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes.
Yeah.
So we got that. Now I want you to listen. This is Fulton County. This is not a news report.
Just understand something, bro. These are very skilled and intelligent people. None of this stuff is by coincidence. It's not like all of these fake accidents that happen. And it's not accidents. These are things that are done by design. They come up with these quick schemes and scams. And they scammed and schemed in the 2020 election, bro.
There's not any of that. Again, the reason why I'm showing you this, one, for the naysayers,
Let's finish
the
this up.
evidence, these are all pieces of evidence that they are using. This is happening. It is too obvious. It is too flagrant. And this is why the Democrats are panicking so bad. Because if we go to voter ID and paper ballots, it's over for the Democrats. They cheated in every single one of the swing states. Do you know every single swing state uses the Dominion machines? All the states in the country don't use them. Every swing state does. Coincidentally, the same machines set up and financed by Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, handed down to Maduro. That was the first time that they were used was back in 2008. In
My bad.
election here in America in South Carolina. It was a primary. Or was it Obama's primary? It was a primary. And it worked like a charm. From 2008, they've been using those machines since 2008, y'all. How many elections did we think were fair before 2020 that were straight railroads? Check this out.
Does the investigation confirm that there are missing ballot images?
Yes. This is Fulton County.
Yes. Do you know why 380,761 ballot images from Election Day machine count are not available?
We subpoenaed Fulton County for all of their ballot images. We received approximately 518,000 ballot images.
From Election Day?
Those are for the recount.
Those are from the recount, but we have no ballot images for 380,761 ballots from Election Day, correct?
What was subpoenaed was the ballot images for the recount because that's what this case was about, not the Election Day.
Does Fulton County know why there are not 380,761 ballot images from Election Day?
As with the investigators, we have not been apprised of this allegation. This is the first time hearing about it. I have no idea what the basis of that allegation is, and so we would have to. We can't answer that at this time.
Now, this is the same woman who later had to come back and admit publicly, yes, yep, that happened. We up 315,000 or 385,000 of them were illegally certified. Now, check out Mike Davis as he just goes, as always, this man lets loose. Check this out.
Yeah, when Democrats get caught with their hands in the cookie jar with their blatant crimes, I would say watch out for the riots. We may have Democrat instituted riots later, like they did in Minnesota, Minneapolis, when the Somali pirates got caught stealing billions of dollars in American taxpayer money, working with these Minnesota Democrat politicians. They tried to distract with riots. So who knows what they're going to do here? But I would just say this with Fulton County: what do they have? 500,000 ballots from the 2020 election that they didn't want to turn over to the Justice Department as part of a lawsuit by the Justice Department, and then you had the FBI go raid and get these documents. It was authorized by a United States magistrate judge to get these voting records from 2020. What did they have to hide? It's amazing that 2020 was an anomaly, and Democrats squeaked by Joe Biden, who couldn't get out of his home and couldn't fill his COVID circles in 2020, somehow squeaked by in Georgia. And they don't want to turn over the evidence, and they say it's voter intimidation. How the hell is it voter intimidation to turn over ballots from 2020 that aren't tied to the voters? They are decoupled from the voter registration, so you wouldn't know how these people voted anyway. They just want to look at the ballots. It's obvious that the Democrats are hiding this because they have something to hide. They know that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they're going to get caught.
And that's what this is all about. That's why this is a great day. Now, listen to this forensic analyst as he lays down, because, again, it's not just Fulton County. That's why I'm showing this. And it's bigger than just saying, we already knew that, Brian. We have to know how. So that way it won't happen again. Listen to this.
Performed examinations in over 2,000 cases. in 5 continents. His expert testimonials have been featured in the Wall Street Journal, America's Most Wanted, Forensic Files, and Good Morning America, to name a few.
I'm Eric Spakeen. I'm a forensic chemist and a forensic document analyst. That means I deal with all aspects of question documents, when they were made, if they've been altered, changed, or added to, and how long ink has been on paper. I was asked if I had experience in election matters to look at primarily printing processes, machine copied marks, CPS code, which is a counterfeit protection system. And I said that I did, and I traveled to Arizona with 3 other people from my office that I had. Number one is that there were a series of ballots that I examined the photographs of. And Dominion, as the election subcontractor, produced ballots for each of the zones or districts that were involved, at least in the area that I looked at here in Maricopa County. And there were 5,000 approximately, a little over, different ballots. As you know, in a state, there could be 2 different senator races. There could be 10 different House races. And all the permutations and combinations is what gives you the 5,000. So they create a final ballot for each one of these districts or zones or regions. So that when you go in and you give your name and it knows you're from this area, you would get this ballot to vote on all the issues that pertain to you and only the issues that pertain to you. And I found that there were about 25,000 ballots that were not printed from the official Dominion PDF ballot. In other words, the printing process, appearance is completely different than what you would get from a first generation PDF printing. As you can imagine, the lines are perfect. So they're perfectly straight, no breaks in them, the circles or ovals as they may be, and they're a solid line. When I examined some of the early voting ballots and election day ballots from various polling locations, there were about 25,000 that did not have printing from this perfect PDF, as you would expect, but instead had breaks in all the same places around an oval. So you can look at one of the ovals and there are imperfections in the line, and they're in the same place on every single one of these ballots.
These 25,000 unidentifiable ballots alone represent over double the amount of Joe Biden's 10,457 vote mark.
And you want to know something? Democrats were smart. They didn't go, well, they weren't too smart because they busted, but they didn't go crazy with it either. They made sure that Biden only won by, 5,000, 10,000 votes, something that wouldn't make somebody really question too much, where if it had been 500,000, everybody would have known that's insane. The man didn't even campaign hardly. He was in his basement dealing with the pandemic. And then it's also ironic that during the year that they did the most atrocious steal, we also had a once-in-a-lifetime type of a flu swing through.
Once in a lifetime.
And they had it all over the TVs, the ticker tapes, terrifying everybody. Then we find out not as many people lost their lives, the illness wasn't what they said it was, and the vaccine actually did more damage to more people than the actual virus did.
And we're going to end it with that, man. Sheesh. Somebody going to jail. Or at least somebody needs to go to jail, man. These people are so corrupt, man. This government shit is crazy. It's very interesting to me, man. That's why I talk about it. It's very interesting. It's history in the making, and these things can change course of history. And it's just crazy how people don't see this stuff. It's like when if you watch these, I've watched multiple videos on the election fraud stuff. But if you watch any of these videos and you hear the testimony from this guy who is a forensic, document analysis guy or whatever he was, and this guy is telling you that I'm an expert at this. This is what I do. I actually went to Arizona and I checked these ballots out, and I alone counted 25,000 ballots that were basically not the actual ballots that were supposed to be there. So even that information alone had you okay, I can see why Trump said that the election was rigged. And then you got the pipe that burst all of a sudden, right? And then all the swing states all simultaneously stop voting at a certain time. Then you got the videos of people stuffing the ballot boxes. You got the van pulling up, lugging in all of these different ballots. Then you got a video of a table that was brought in, and when everybody left, When everything got shut down, there's these luggage bags full of ballots miraculously appeared, and they went to work to stage this whole thing, bro. This was an elaborate scheme to steal the 2020 election, and it worked. But like Brian Maxwell said, this could have been going on since Obama, which I think Obama won his election fair and square, especially the first one, for sure. But, this stuff is, the reason why people don't have faith in the government and a lot more, bro. And stuff needs to change, bro, because this stuff is going like. But the thing that like I said earlier, the thing that irks me the most is the things that people are fighting about. It's like we got so many important things that we could be fighting about together. Forget a Democrat, forget a Republican, forget a party that you're associated with. Bro, they're robbing us blind. They're taking advantage of us. You go out every single day and bust your ass in your 9 to 5, and then you got to work a side hustle, and you got to do DoorDash and Uber just to make ends meet, and you're struggling. You can't save money, and it's not by accident or this is all by design. They want it this way. They want you broke, desperate, in fear that oh, Trump is out to get us. And when no, Trump is actually trying to save you and save America from the destruction that these people are causing. And people just don't see it. I don't know for what reason. I think honestly, because I've talked to many of people and they all just literally hate Trump. It's just, I hate Trump. I don't care. I don't like whatever. I don't even care about none of this stuff. I just don't like him. Like they don't even have no valid reasons of why they don't like Trump. It's just I don't like him. Because they have been manipulated to that point to where it's just, I don't like them. It's something about them. Like, oh, man. Sheesh. Hey, man, they really did a number on Americans, man. And this has been in the work. I showed in the intro. That was a video from 1965. And basically it was the guy saying if I was the devil, like what he would do in America. And all of the stuff that he said is things that are going on right now and have been going on pretty much for the last, 2 decades. This is all by design. These people have elaborate plans, and the plans are demonic. And in short, that's all you need to say. That's all you need to know is it's all demonic shit. And you realize when you really look into all of these things that's going on, you're like, damn. Like, damn, they really did take religion out of everything. They really did convince women that, being promiscuous and being half naked in the street is okay. And, like they do got liquor stores and casinos everywhere. And, you just like, when you really listen to that, you're like, this was in 1965. So it looks like somebody or a group of people said, you know what, that's actually a good plan. Let's do that plan. And they did it. And they're doing it. And they're really doing a number on people, bro. People are losing their lives right now. It's crazy. But, hey, man, that's the show for today. If you like the show, please do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share the video. Also, comment down below. Hopefully, you can comment once this video goes out. I'll try to fix that so you can at least comment on the video. But also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for your boy. Help your boy on the road to 1K subscribers. I truly do appreciate everybody that did hit that subscribe button for me. And for you, the future subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. I truly do appreciate it. Also, hit that notification bell and select all so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.